ॐ नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे स्वामिने तापहारिणे. Friends, namaskar. You are all welcome to our new series, Power Your Mind. Today we are discussing Silence is Yoga. Silence is Yoga. Silence has given so much importance, particularly in spiritual life. We can save a lot of energy. But then many times we do not know the deeper meaning of silence. Just by keeping quiet, do you mean that it is silence? No, it is not like that. It is a journey from talking to silence. Therefore, it is not that if we just don't speak, it is not that if we don't speak, we keep quiet, that means we are maintaining silence. No, it is only the meaning on surface, but that is not the real meaning. If only by keeping quiet one can become yogi, silence is yoga. Just by not speaking one can become yogi, then you see there are many people. They born dumb and deaf. From very birth they cannot speak, they cannot hear. Do you mean they are all yogis? No, they are not yogis. There are many fools. If they open their mouth, all sorts of things will come out. So they don't want to get exposed. So they keep quiet. Do you mean that they are yogis? No. First we have to train our speech. We speak, and that is essential. But then first we have to learn speaking. Then we can go beyond speech. You see, there is a rich person, Jamindar, landlord. Once upon a time he had a lot of lands. Now his all land is gone away, taken by government in stealing. Now you cannot call him landlord. He was once upon a time, but now he is not a landlord. But people call him landlord, Jamindar. Like that, you don't have speech, and therefore you are keeping quiet. But that does not mean that you are maintaining silence. So therefore, first we have to learn how to speak. Then you can go beyond that. First have something, then you can renounce. Without having anything, you are a beggar, and you want to renounce. What can you renounce? You want to renounce your speech, but then you should have that. First you must train, make best use of your speech, then you can go beyond. So therefore, there are different types of speech, and that is what we are going to discuss today. I will read out that poem first, so it will be easy for us to understand. Then I will explain one by one. Then again, same poem you will see at the end. In the beginning and end, only twice you will be able to see this poem. In between, I will explain the different stanzas. So, please listen carefully. Silence is yoga. Talking to an audience is lecturing. Talking to a disciple is initiating. Talking to a sadhu is satsang. Talking to people is communication. Talking to God is prayer. Talking to a depressed is counseling. Talking to a friend is chatting. Talking to a student is teaching. Talking to a voter is canvassing. Talking to an enemy is anger. Talking to a fool is gossip. Talking to oneself is brooding. Talking to none is silence. And silence is yoga. See, there are how many stages. And all these stages we have to train ourselves. Otherwise you will say, Swamiji, you are talking about silence. Then why do you speak? You say, I am speaking. You may question, you talk about silence but you are speaking. It is necessary. In the beginning, to reach that state where there is absolute silence, this we have to train our speech. So therefore, what is the first? Talking to an audience is lecturing. Now speaker, he will speak, and to whom he will speak? Audience. Now I am talking to you, you are audience for me, so I have to speak. I cannot keep quiet, because it is also a training how to speak and what to speak. That is most important. Not speaking anything and everything. Our scripture says, Swadhyaya pravachanabhyam na pramaditavyam. We should never neglect these two things. Swadhyaya, reading scriptures, reading good books, reading great lives, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, Ramayana, Mahabharata, these are all scriptures. So this is Swadhyaya. We have to read. And for what you have to read? Pravachanabhyam. These things are lying in our scriptures. We should take them out and you should spread among the people. Pravachana. So this is also talking. I am talking to you. You are audience. And therefore it is essential, because it is the beginning to reach that end, silence. So here we cannot neglect. Otherwise, how can we enlighten people? Bhagwan Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda, you see how many people they inspired? They did not keep quiet, because that is our duty that we have to do. So here the first Swadhyaya Pravachanabhyam, na pramaditavyam. We should not neglect Swadhyaya and Pravachana. So we have to tell good things to people. If we know, if we have studied, then we should not keep for ourselves. We have to share with others. That is the use. So therefore, here speaking is necessary. By keeping quiet, you cannot educate people. Then talking to a disciple is initiating. The guru and disciple, that is relationship. Guru will always discuss with his disciple. He will give him advice. There also Guru is talking. But what he is doing, he is initiating his disciple. That means he is initiating his disciple into spiritual life. Disciple doesn't know, only worldly things. Now Guru will come in life, spiritual Guru, and he will instruct you how to lead a spiritual life. He will give you mantra. That is also essential for our spiritual progress. Repetition of God's name is also necessary. Gungan Sankirtan is also necessary. Because without that we cannot progress. In the beginning itself we cannot keep quiet. So therefore Guru and Shishya, when they discuss, when they talk, so that is initiation. Initiation means beginning. Disciple is beginning his spiritual life. He need help of Guru, and Guru should guide him properly. There also training is necessary. Guru should know the different mentalities of different disciples. Accordingly, he should guide them. There also training is necessary. For disciple also, for Guru also. Because they should know, disciple what he should do and Guru what he should tell. So therefore, speaking to disciple is, we say, initiation, or initiating him in spiritual life. Talking to a sadhu is satsanga. Our scripture, they emphasize that always you should have satsanga, you should have sadhu sangha. Now why they insist? Because all the time we are listening about the worldly matters. Day and night we are living in this world, and day and night we listen, we see, we hear everything about the worldly things. Now here we have to mix with good people, sadhus, those who are spiritually inclined, so that from them we can learn about God. But for that also training is necessary. When you go to sadhu, when you go to a great person, you should be very humble. You should not go there to test him, to show your knowledge, or to see his knowledge. That is not your purpose. Or when you are going to sadhu, you should not talk about worldly things. You are going there, worldly things you know. But you are going there which you do not know. You do not know anything about spiritual life. You see, Bhagwan Shri Ramakrishna, to him, Master Mahashay Mahendranath Gupta, he used to go and he was doing satsanga. If you read Gospel of Shri Ramakrishna, Master Mahasaya is not asking anything worldly. All the time he is putting questions about God. Living in this samsara, can we realize God? Our mind is restless, how to think of God? All these questions are connected with spiritual life. See, that is called real sadhu sangha. We do sadhu sangha, but we don't get any benefit because we go on discussing about all sorts of things. That is not the purpose. You are wasting your time and you are wasting that sadhu's time. You are going there to ask spiritual questions about your spiritual life. But you go on telling about your family problems or all these other things, politics. It has no concern. So why should you there unnecessarily waste your time? So there also you need a training. When you go to sadhu, what you should speak, you should hear more than speaking. But most of the time, the people come for sadhu sangha, they themselves go on talking. They want to show their knowledge. They are not in a position to listen what the sadhu is telling. They don't want to listen. They want to tell their Puranam. So this is not the way. You have to train. Even when you go to sadhu, you have to train our speech. How to speak with sadhu. We should be humble, not to show our ego. We should listen. We should put into practice. And we should not discuss about unnecessarily unwanted things with sadhu. That is not the purpose. So you see, there are different stages. We have to cultivate that. Then last will come silence, but not in the beginning itself. So here talking to a sadhu is satsang. Talking to people is communication. You see, from morning till evening we have to speak. We cannot just keep quiet. We have to speak with our boss, we have to speak our family members, our friends, so many people in business connection. So here we have to speak. But then that is also skill. It is called communication skill. How to communicate with people. When you are communicating with your children, when you are communicating with your parents, when you are communicating with your boss or your subordinates. So here, how should you speak? That is also you need training. That is communication. So those who are good in communication, they achieve success. They know how to achieve success. Because their language will be such, they can impress people. So therefore, here also we need speech. By keeping quiet, you can't be successful. But then how to speak, how to communicate, that is also essential. That training also is necessary. First, we should have speech. Then we have to train our speech, control our tongue. And then we can go beyond, but not in the beginning. So therefore, communication is also very important. We say communication gap. Many times so many problems we face. Why this happened? No, it is a communication gap. What he told and what I heard was totally different. Because your mind was restless. Your boss is telling something and you are hearing something. Because your mind is not there. You are not focusing your mind. What your boss is telling, you are not listening carefully. Therefore, communication gap. You will make blunders. And for that you will have to suffer. So this communication is also equally important. Talking to God is prayer. You see, with God also we talk. When we go to temple, what we do? There we sit quietly and we pray to God. Even evening prayer, morning prayer, we can pray loudly. We can chant the stotras. So that is also communication. That is also talking. But you are talking with God. Whether you talk it loudly or mentally, but when you are in communication with God, that is called prayer. Mirabai, there are so many abhangas, so many bhajans. Mirabai's bhajan, Tukaram Maharaj abhangas, they are what is there? They are nothing but prayers. their outpouring of their hearts, their love for divine, their love for God. It is coming out through their mouth, it is coming out in the form of words, that is their own feelings. So when we speak with God, when we talk with God, we call it prayer. And prayer is also essential in our spiritual life. You can pray loudly, you can pray mentally, that is a different matter. But here, talk is there. Here you are sitting before God and you are praying to Him. You can pray for anything you want because God is, after all, you are our mother and father. He can provide us if it is useful for us. Of course, God knows what is good for us and He knows what is bad for us. We may pray, but He will give us only whatever is good for us. So here, developing a habit of prayer is essential in our life because we have to establish a relationship with God. He is our very own. Though we cannot see Him, but He listens. He is Antaryami, He is sitting within our heart. Whatever we pray, whatever we do, He can see, He can listen because He is innermost self. He is a conscious, not a dead matter. So being a conscious, He can listen everything, whatever you say. He may not respond immediately. That depends upon your intensity. But then He is listening your each and every word. That should be our faith in the beginning. So when we talk with God, when we sing bhajans, when we sing glories, when we repeat God's name, this is all nothing but talking with God. And it will help you in your spiritual life. When you talk with God, when you sing glories of God, your mind is full of divine thoughts. Your mind is getting slowly purified. And unless mind is pure, it will not be silent. Swami Vivekananda said, unless our mind is quiet, our mind is pure, Swami Vivekananda says. So out of purity will come power to your words. So when mind is pure, it will be concentrated, then it will become quiet. Restless mind cannot become quiet. First we have to make it concentrated. And we have to make it pure. When mind is full of negative thoughts, how can it be quiet? It will be thinking on all sorts of things. So here, by prayer, by meditation, by japa, by singing glories, we purify our mind, and loudly talking to God also will help us when our mind is restless. We can tell our problems. So talking to God is a prayer. Talking to a depressed is counseling. Now when we talk to a depressed person who is in depression, suppose anybody come to you with some problems, because he has lost something, he has lost his near and dear, he lost his property, he is in difficulty, he is in trouble. So he will come. What he want? He want your guidance. He want your counseling. He want help from you. Now here, when such people come, we have to help them. We have to increase their confidence. We have to make them strong. That is our purpose, because he is already depressed. But then if we go on telling again negative things to him, because you are useless, that's why these problems are coming, you don't know how to face problems, you don't know how to face challenges, what is the use of your life? Again he will go to more and more depression. That is not our job. We should encourage him. We should install that faith in him. So don't worry. These problems will come. They will go. You can face challenges. You are infinite strength within you. That is the job of counselor. He has to encourage that person who is depressed. We have to bring him out of that depression. That is our job. And for that also we need training. Otherwise, if we talk to a person who is already depressed in such a way that we put all blame on him, he will become more depressed. So we should never do like that. Because it is a counseling. You are a counselor. You are a guide. You have to help him. You have to solve his problem. But instead of that, you are multiplying his problems. That is not the right way. So here we have to go to such person who will help us, who is capable to help us, who is able to solve our problems. We have to search only such people. We cannot go to anybody and everybody because they will misguide us. We have to go to the right type of people. And this person also should guide them in right way so that their problems will be solved. They will not go into more and more depressions and they will face all challenges in life. That is the way that we have to help the people. So therefore, talking to a depressed is counseling. Talking to a friend is chatting. This is also talking. Friends are talking. That means what? They are chit-chatting. They are chatting. But here also, they should, certainly they can chat. But here, that chatting should not lead to quarrel and fights. There also we should know, we should not lose our friend. Many times when we chit-chat, when we discuss something, there will be difference of opinion, and on that unnecessarily quarrel and fighting will come. That means instead of conquering their hearts, we are making our friends our enemies. That means we have to train here also how to speak, because we have to speak and you have 10 friends and 10 friends have different mentalities. You cannot apply same language everywhere and anywhere. You have to see their mentality. According to their mentality, you have to speak to them. Otherwise, you will be disturbing them. Your friends will go away. So here, talking with friends also is an art. How to keep all our friends united. How not to disturb anybody by our language. So here, not entering unnecessarily in arguments and fighting. That is the art. We should know that how to handle particular situation. Therefore, talking to a friend is also chatting. That is also one type of communication, one type of speaking. But these are all essential because we are living in the society. When we go out, when we go to Himalayas where nobody is there, that is a different matter. But after going there also, don't think that people can keep quiet because they have not trained their speech properly living in this world. They simply went out, but their mind is full of thoughts, and that also bad thoughts. So they will be thinking something else. So therefore here talking to a friend is chatting. Talking to a student is teaching. This is a teacher-student relationship. Now teacher will go to classroom and what he will do? He will do teaching. Now here a teacher should know that he is a teacher. What is his job? His job is teaching. His job is not chit-chatting. His job is not gossiping. His job is teaching. So he should not deviate from his subject. Many times teaching he will leave aside and he will go on discussing all sorts of things. You can discuss about general knowledge, you can talk about this, there is nothing wrong. But the things which are not useful at all, such things if you discuss in the classroom, then you are not a good teacher. So here teacher has a job to do, that is teaching to his students, enlightening them, giving them knowledge, encouraging them, giving them some good values along with subject. That is his duty. Because teachers has to play a very important role in society. Teachers are called nation builders. Now teachers will have to educate students in proper direction. Not only teaching what was written in books, that they can learn from computer, internet, they can learn. But you have to make them real men and women. So therefore teacher should be always conscious what he is doing in his classroom while talking with students. So his job is teaching. He should speak, but he should maintain his dignity. He should not be very cheap. He should not make jokes and funs just to become a popular. That is not the purpose of teacher. He is not a joker. He is a teacher. And he should know that his job is only to teach and not to unnecessarily talk all sorts of things. So therefore here teaching we have seen. Talking to a voter is canvassing. Now politicians, what they do? They also talk. But they talk to the voters to grab votes. And that is what they do, canvassing. They canvass that you should vote me. They will tell all sorts of things. Otherwise nobody will vote them. So here politicians or a particular MLA or MP, they are also talking with voters. But that talking is only in one way. And they should know that where they are, what they are doing, is it right? Now if they go to any religious function and there if they start canvassing, that is wrong. There you have not gone to advertise yourself, to grab votes. You have gone to a spiritual place. There you should know that this is not the place to capture votes. You should speak only enlightening things. You should not speak anything about politics there. Now this protocol, most of the people they don't follow. Where they are, what they are speaking, where they should speak. When you go on election campaign, you can speak about this. You can do canvassing. Nobody will mind. But whole life you are everywhere, wherever you go, whatever function it may be, you are only canvassing yourself. That is wrong thing. That is not the place. You should know where you are and for what you have come. You have not come there for canvassing. You have come for function. So speak only what is related there. You see how many ways we have to train our speech. Many times people do not know and therefore they commit blunders. In YouTube we see sometimes they will pass such remarks, objectionable remarks, and then they will suffer. They don't know, there is no control over the tongue, what they are speaking, to whom they are speaking. So here we have to be very careful, particularly politicians. So when they have to do canvassing, they should be very careful. They cannot do anything anywhere. They should know their limitations. That is the way. Talking to an enemy is anger. So if somebody is giving you all the time trouble, you call him enemy. That there should not be enemy at all. And even enemy is there, you should not get angry. But we may not get angry outwardly, but inside is full of anger. Mentally we have so much of hatred for that person. That is also not good. So here when there is quarrel because of selfishness, I want this, I want this. He said no, I want. He said I want. Even two brothers, they fight for property. Partners, they fight for property. So here when we talk with enemy, that means who is creating trouble for us, then our language is there, but our language is there very negative. We get angry, we feel jealous. That is also should not be there. Here we should be very careful, particularly spiritual sadhaka. He must learn to control the tongue. As far as possible, he should not lose his balance. He should not get angry. But then common people, most of the people, always they are in angry mood. Anything and everything, always they are ready to oppose. They are always ready to fight, always ready to find faults with you. Such people are there. That means they have not trained their speech. You cannot be angry all the time. In house, you are angry with wife and children and this. You go to office, you fight with boss and colleagues. Wherever you go, you are always in angry mood. How can you get peace of mind? Because you don't know how to control your speech, how you develop in spiritual life. This simple thing you do not know. And how can you practice maunam? It is impossible. Talking to a fool is gossip. You say some people will be there. We know they are fools. Talking to them is only wasting our time because they do not know what to speak. They will speak all sorts of vulgar things and bad things. Even if you try to correct them, they are not in a position to listen you. That's why we call them fools. Now, talking with such people is wasting our time. Then why to waste our time unnecessarily? Say there was a boy and he has a very bad habit of smoking bidi, that small bidis, always used to smoke. Now his father thought that our boy has spoiled, he is not listening. So he called one good person, wise man. Sir, you please tell something to my child. He is smoking bidi, is not listening anybody. Now that person said, Arey, what is the use? Your son is not listening to anybody. He is a fool. He will unnecessarily argue. He will waste my time. But he said, sir, many people have tried, but you also can try something. Then anyway, that person went. And he told, my dear boy, why do you smoke bidis? It will spoil your health. You will get cancer. You have to spend so much of money. On bidi also, how much money you are spending. See how your health is already spoiled. So don't you know that smoking is a very bad habit? Should you not give it up? Please listen to my advice. Now that boy kept quiet, and after all he is a fool. He said, sir, you are telling that I should give up smoking. Why should I give up? Then he opened his mouth, started speaking. He said, if I smoke bidi, all the bidi workers will get work. Otherwise they are poor people. They make bidis. Now because I smoke bidi, they will get job. Then it is helping them. Then they will sell that bidi to the shop, bidi shop. That bidi shop wala also will earn profit. If I smoke bidi, that laborers will get money, that shop wala will get money, and if I get some disease, I will have to go to doctor, and the doctor also will get money. Otherwise doctors, how they will survive? They have to survive. So he will also earn money. And when I go to shop to purchase medicine, that medical shop wala also will get money. Yes sir, how many people are benefiting by my smoking bidi? And if I die by cancer, my food is saved. That can be given to poor people. So you see, I am always helping society by smoking bidi. Now this is fool. Now who can convince such person? Talking with such person is only wasting our time. He proved that smoking bidi, how it is useful to the society. He proved by his arguments. This is called fool. What type of arguments he is giving? So you see, talking to a fool is gossip, only wasting of time. And talking to oneself is brooding. You say talking to oneself is brooding. He is keeping quiet. Outwardly he is not speaking. His mouth is shut. But mentally he goes on thinking. And that is very dangerous. We say brooding over. Those people who keep always quiet, there is always danger for them. Because they are keeping quiet, they are maintaining silence, but they are not yogis. Because what they are thinking, that is very important. They go on brooding over. There is one beautiful sloka in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita says, Karmendriyani sanyamya ye aste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimudhatma mithyachara sauchyate. See, Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, Karmendriyani sanyamya ye aste manasa smaran. Karmendriya म्हणजे speech, it is karmendriya, walk, speaking. So he control his speech. Karmendriyani sanyamya ye aste manasa smaran. But mentally he is thinking. What he is thinking? Indriyarthan, the object of the senses. Not that he is keeping quiet means mentally he is quiet. Though outside he is Karmendriya, he is controlling, he is not speaking. Karmendriyani sanyamya ye aste manasa smaran. But mentally he is very active. Indriyarthan vimudhatma mithyachara sauchyate. He is a hypocrite. He is not speaking, but mentally he is thinking of the object of the senses. How to enjoy, how to grab money. So all sorts of desires are there. So what type of silence this is? He is simply keeping quiet, but mentally he is brooding over all sorts of negative things. So you see, talking to oneself is brooding. He is not talking to anybody. He is keeping quiet, but he is talking to himself. Mentally he is talking. That means he is brooding over all sorts of things. And that brooding over, he is not thinking of God. He is thinking of worldly objects. He is keeping quiet outwardly. We see how quiet that boy is. But what is going on in his mind is very difficult to understand. Such people get mental problems. It is better to be open. You can find out somebody, tell your problems. Don't keep quiet. Each and every problem you just cannot suppress. Come out, tell somebody. You will feel relieved. But such people, they keep quiet. They go on accumulating all sorts of tension within themselves. And ultimately, one day it will come out. And they will lose their mental balance. So therefore, brooding over also is very dangerous. Therefore, brooding over, all the time brooding over, not speaking but mentally brooding over on all sorts of negative thoughts is also not good. So therefore, talking to oneself is brooding. Talking to none is silence. Talking to none. You see, we have seen so many varieties. Now he is talking to none. You are sitting for meditation. Now when you are sitting for meditation, you are not talking to anybody, because outside all doors you are closed. You have closed your eyes, you are quietly sitting. But here sitting also you are not brooding over. You see, you are keeping quiet outwardly, but mentally keeping quiet is most important. That is a real silence. Otherwise, simply keeping quiet is not silence. Here, talking to none is silence. You are not talking to anyone, you are not even brooding over also. If you can think of God, we can understand. But in the higher stage, thinking of God also will stop. There will not be a single thought in your mind. Your mind is absolutely free from all thoughts. That is called real silence. Shanto vahi Atma. Atma, how it is Atman? Atman is peaceful, absolutely quiet. Sri Ramakrishna's story is there. Two brothers, they went to learn Vedas. After learning Vedas, they came home. Father asked to elder boy, tell me, what did you learn? He started quoting slokas, mantras. He said, all right. Then he asked that younger boy, what did you learn, you tell? He just kept quiet. Then father said, this boy only has got real knowledge. Because when real knowledge comes, you cannot speak. It is silence. The nature of Atman is peaceful. Shanto vahi Atma. Here in Dakshinamurti Stotram, Shankaracharya has written a beautiful lines there. What he says there? He says, Gurostu maunam vyakhyanam, shishyastu chinna samshayaha. Gurostu maunam vyakhyanam. Guru is speaking, but how is speaking? Maunam vyakhyanam. Guru is keeping quiet, he is not speaking. That is his vyakhyan, that is his lecture. Maunam is lecture. And by simply keeping quiet, all the doubts of disciples have disappeared. All doubts have gone. This is the nature of Atman. That's why mentally we should be quiet. First we have to train our speech. We have seen different varieties. First we have to master our speech. Then when you sit for meditation, no thoughts will come. Outside speaking, talking is totally stopped. But even mentally also, there is no thought. And that is Patanjali says, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. What is yoga? All the vrittis of chitta completely stopped. But the first we have to control our speech, then we have to control our thoughts. Then we can go beyond. Shankaracharya says in his Vivek Chudamani, Yogasya Prathamam Dwaram Vang Nirodho Aparigraha. The first step to yoga is yogasya prathamam dwaram vang nirodho, control of speech. That is most important. We should know in what situation we are and what we are speaking, what is relevant there. That only we should speak. We cannot speak anything and everything anywhere and everywhere. So here first we have to train. Then here we have to slowly speak only spiritual matter. And afterwards, when our mind is purified by good thoughts, then we have to go beyond even good thoughts. Not only bad, but good and bad, both we have to renounce. Both we have to discard. Then mind will be absolutely quiet. And when his mind is absolutely thoughtless, you attain the state of yoga, you attain the samadhi, and that is the real peace, that is the real silence. And we have to reach that. That's why silence is yoga. Silence is yoga, but before that, before reaching that state, silence, because in silence means samadhi, you are reaching ultimate goal. So before reaching that samadhi state, when mind is absolutely quiet, we have to undergo all these different types of trainings. When we live in this world, we have to make use of speech. But then making best use of speech, we can purify our mind. And then when mind is purified, when there is no negative thoughts in our mind, we cannot speak bad things. And then both we have to give up. Speaking mentally and speaking even physically also. Then when mind will be thoughtless, then there is no mind at all. What is mind? Mind is only thoughts. And where there is no thought, good or bad, there is no mind. There is only Atman. Then you realize that you are the only existence. Mind is not real, you are real. Mind is only instrument in your hand. If you want, you can use it for good things. If you want to speak, you can speak. But if you want to keep quiet, you can keep quiet. That mind cannot go beyond your control. It cannot think without your permission. If you give him permission, then only mind will start thinking. Otherwise, mind will keep quiet. That means you have full control over your mind. You have full control over your thoughts. And that is called state of yoga. It is not that they were not talking. They also were talking, but they are full control. When they wanted, they could. When they wanted to keep quiet, they could quiet their mind. Not only speech, but mind also. Mind also was not thinking without their permission. That is the ultimate stage that we have to reach by training our speech in the beginning. Then real silence will come. That is the meaning. Silence is yoga, but before that, there are different levels. And at different levels, we have to train ourselves. Then we can reach that highest state where our mind will not be disturbed at all. Nothing will affect our mind. It will remain all the time calm and quiet, serene. That is the stage we have to reach. And we can reach by practicing all these things what we have done. So once again we will read out this poem and conclude our today's speech. Silence is yoga. Talking to an audience is lecturing. Talking to a disciple is initiating. Talking to a sadhu is satsang. Talking to people is communication. Talking to God is prayer. Talking to a depressed is counselling. Talking to a friend is chatting. Talking to a student is teaching. Talking to a voter is canvassing. Talking to an enemy is anger. Talking to a fool is gossip. Talking to oneself is brooding. Talking to none is silence. And silence is yoga. Silence is yoga. So, namaskar, dhanyavad. Om Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukha bhag bhavet, ma kaschid dukha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tassat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.